Good morning, good evening, everyone. I promise you, if you stuck around, you are in for a treat because right now we're going to have the Dodgers at the Sabres in the Champion League. So I'm pretty excited. I think this is going to be a pretty good toss-up between the two teams. It's going to be hopefully a little bit closer than the Academy League, but not to say that the Hive weren't putting on a pretty good show. Um, but yeah, I'm pretty excited to see how this is going to go. Both of these teams, I think, have been putting their all in the practice, uh, kind of being pretty determined in the novelty of the league, trying to win their first two matches off to a good start in the season. But I'm joined by Chivi as well, and
Yeah,
Chivi, I have a question for you. I
yes,
know
please.
I asked you this last time, and your prediction didn't go as to plan as we thought
Nearly
it
as
would.
much as I thought.
Yeah. But who do you think is going to win the series? Dodgers or Sabres?
Like this time, and I hope this time I'm right, and not as far as I thought it was. I think this one is going to go to Sabers. I mean,
Ooh.
a little bit biased because it's the team that I have the most players that I know. I mean,
Mm.
I had the chance to cast the previous week with Skyler, so I'm very glad to see him not only on the booth but also in the track.
Yeah.
Also, Argenbarger, also a great player. And on the Dodgers team, to be honest, I see the names, I recognize some, but I'm not familiar with the players. So I'm going to go with the "I hope my friends win" kind of approach.
Yeah.
If you
I
know
mean,
what I mean.
definitely, but I think the Dodgers are gonna win due to the fact they have Toga,
Oh, you
who's
think
been
so?
kind of Toga's been putting their all in the practice, and they've been in the MLE lounge. If you're part of the community, we have a lounge that players just join and hunt maps and hang around in. So definitely very excited to see all of that being being done in the server. But also Rotary Dragon is very consistent. I think he went in the first round of the CL draft as like one of the lower sals. I think he's currently sitting at like a 10 sal or a 10-5. And then Husky, who was my old teammate in season one, who I'm glad to see is playing because he has like a life now. He got married and he has kids, and he's
Wow.
like he's on to bigger and better. But I'm I'm really excited to see how this is gonna go because I believe that every player in this lobby has the potential to kind of send their car into first place, with including all like everyone at the same time. So when I assume that the matches are going to be that close in every single round, it's going to be very, very close all the way to the end. So just to refresh anyone new joining in, this is a 3v3 league where you need 11 points in a round to win. 5 round wins get you a map, and then 5 maps is how many we play in each series. So, and obviously, if you win three 3 maps in the series, you win the series. So yeah, very excited. So Chibi, I think I will let you take it away.
Gladly, I will. And we're going the first round, the first map. This time, I mean, we're going back. I think we're keeping the same order as we saw on the last match. Is going to be Emily. Great joke is never gonna get old. This time, it's going to be the Dodgers who are going to dominate the round for the moment. Rotary Dragon is going to hold the first position. J Nova is fighting for the second one, but they don't get a great line. Is going to get Toge-kiss on the first position. One, two, and three are going to be the Dodgers fighting for that ace. And I mean, as you guys know, we only need 11 points to get the round win. So one and two is more than enough. You have the third player in case of something going wrong. But for now, great pace from all the players going into the wood. Togekiss having to release a little bit is going to leave them Husky the opportunity to take those 6 points. But oh, they touched the wall. That fence is going to do some damage, but still, it's going to be enough for a 1-2-3, a clean sweep, and
Yeah,
an ace for the Dodgers.
that's a
And
great way.
I
Yeah.
don't want to be scared, but that's how it started my prediction, and it didn't go well.
Well,
So
there was some silly mistakes. I'm sure the Sabres will pull this back, but I do want to point out in terms of salary versus salary, this is the The Dodgers 1, 2, and I think they're yeah. No, this is their 1, 4, 5 in terms of their 5 player roster, and the Sabres the only team missing a player, so this is currently their 2, 3, 5. Um, so definitely
I,
in terms of salary, the Dodgers have kind of won that battle, but in terms of positionally, it's about even. As we a Sabres player unfortunately clipping in that drift, gonna have to respawn to their last checkpoint. So Dodgers again sitting in a very, very, very advantageous position. Case Skylar kind of sitting and challenging Rotary Dragon as we go into the drifting section. A lot of mistakes can happen here. All the players kind of safing it though, sacrificing a little bit of speed just to guarantee you're getting your car through. And unfortunately, the best Sabres challenger clipping out there. So that will be another ace for the Dodgers as we make our way into the finish around this penalty grass section. Another 1, 2, 3 for them. You know, Chibi, I'm starting to think that you're cursed.
I don't say that, or I'm going to start to feel guilty because, not gonna lie, I mean, you know it. We've been casting for not ages, but quite a while, and to be honest, I'm one that casts curses
Yeah.
quite often, more
I
than I
mean,
would like
yeah.
to
Do
admit.
you just not like the players, or like what's up, man?
Um, Brother, I do my best. I'm trying to keep my voice in shape. I'm trying to keep the match going on. But I just see a name. I want to put it on the spotlight, and maybe it's too bright. It blinds them a little bit, and yeah, that's something that just happens. I mean, not only in TM, but in many other games it
Yeah.
happens. Just that we see it way more often here, and more than I
Oh,
would like to admit. J
J
Nova touching
Nova.
the wall, well, not even touching it, slamming into the wall and having a very bad crash. That's going to be again 1, 2, and 3 for the Dodgers. Toge-kiss getting the first position, trading with Husky. Ooh, that loses the gear, but still they're going to
Yeah, there's a lot
still
of
be.
room.
There's a lot of room. First and second place. That's the tiny ace, but that's the only ace that we need to get those sweet and nice 11 points. 1 and 2 with a 59.1 and a 59.5. Very good times for both Dodgers players. And yeah, it
Yeah,
looks like the
definitely.
curse is taking shape, and I'm
Damn
not
it, Chibi.
liking it a bit.
Okay. Well, as we saw before with the Hive on the Academy series for anyone new joining in, it was the Hive at the I'm blanking out. Oh, the Hive at the Hurricanes last match on the Academy League. So um it was in Kane's favor pretty much the entire time. It was 5-0 at the very end of the series, but there was definitely some rounds where they pieced everything together and everyone was kind of driving. I mean, J Nova we've been seeing who's currently setting P2 has been driving pretty good. It's just up to the point where you need to actually use your brakes and slow down and send your car around this corner as hard as possible while still managing to keep most of your speed. Husky finding out the flagpole's hurt. So we go into the dirt section. J Nova and Zeddy fighting with Toga into checkpoint number 6. Rotary Dragon kind of slipping away as well. Zeddy. Oh, a lot of mistakes there as we get into the section. Skylar also holding up P6 pretty confidently, finding out how much speed you need to make up that plastic section. So this will be a 1-2 for the Dodgers. Unfortunately, Zeddy will not have enough speed to make it all the way through.
Yeah, the Dodgers are being very consistent from the first round to, well, till now,
Yeah.
getting not the first nor the second nor the third, but their fourth point and a match point situation. We're not on regular Trackmania. This is not finalist. This is just match points. So if the Dodgers get more than 11 points or more this round, it is going to be map for them and the first one out of the five that we're going to see and play on this match between these two teams. For now, the pack is really close. I mean, we see Skylar just a little bit trail behind, but nothing that crazy, nothing that bad. So it's going to be, if the camera changes, the three Dodgers players very close to each other. The Sabres are quite close, not enough to be trading places, but close enough to be on the danger zone. So any crash, any bad transition, any gear change can maybe cause problems for the Dodgers, but they're going to carry that speed and those very good lines till the finish. Maybe Nova is going to trade the third position but touch to the fence, and it's
Yeah.
going to be a clean ace
Oof.
once again for the Dodgers.
5-0.
5-0. I
That
should
hurts.
stop
That hurts a little bit.
answering questions
I
in the
do
beginning
I
of.
do also want to point out that the Sabres are kind of a little bit disadvantaged here. Because they have the Dodgers have 4 people in the lobby, which obviously there's not 4 drivers actually driving. That'd be a little unfair. But we in minor league esports we allow I think 1 to 2 spectators per team to allow someone to give callouts because if your entire team is ahead, there's no point in saying, "Hey guys, let's all full push," because a lot of players play with their HUD off or they just don't really look at splits or something like that. So it's definitely going to be very, very useful. They have a Falco, one of my close friends. I'm giving some callouts here. So as we go into the warm up at Anglione, I do want to say, Chibi, I don't. You said you're inexperienced with the maps just because you haven't really looked at them. You're not a player yourself, which is definitely fine. But there's some differing strategies we've seen. So obviously there's the start strategy. You can go inside or outside hole. It's about point 0.2. But then there's in this drifting section in the middle of the map, there's this jumping strategy where you can throw your car as hard as possible and kind of keep all 4 tires on the ground. And honestly, I don't know if it's faster, but it's much cooler. And I'd like to
Oh
see one of
yeah,
the Dodgers players kind of try it out in this map.
yeah. I mean,
So
we're here for the content. We're here. I mean, to see the players perform and do their best, but we're here for the cinema, and there's nothing more cinema in this map than that cool and I don't know how are we going to call it. It is
it's
going to be the
it's
drift yeet, maybe.
yeah, it's the big jump. It's the moment where you're out of control completely. So kind of half and half as we go into the first round. So a lot of players opting for outside versus inside. Remember, it's about point 0.2 if you get it very, very good. But if you're safing the inside line, which you definitely should, it's only about point 0.1, maybe 0.15 of a lead. So definitely, yeah, everything equalizes as we get into the midsection. So no players opting for the line that we've been talking about. I'm actually not sure if it's possible on the upper, like the harder versions of the maps. It's definitely possible in the AL versions, as we saw our friend Flux Capacitor do in the last series. So definitely interesting to see how that's going to go. But right now, the Dodgers are sitting in a very, very comfortable position. Right now, 1, 3, and 5. So Sabres putting on a little bit more of a fight as we go into this one, but it won't be enough this time around. Definitely much closer round than we saw on Emily.
And very,
Definitely,
very good
yeah.
times.
But then,
47.1, 47.5, very, very close to each other. I mean, point 0.3, point 0.4, maybe it looks like too big of a gap, but when consistency is key, those
yeah.
times and that time difference is something that is
Ooh,
non-negligible,
super.
and Nova risking a lot and is going to have to respawn from the beginning of the map. That is going to put them completely out of the fight for the first few positions. And if I'm not mistaken, Zeddy.
Yeah, Zeddy, a name we haven't really seen much up front, is now currently front holding for the Sabres team in the one round where the rest of the roster just couldn't quite put it together. And unfortunately, a similar story we've seen in the other maps. Zeddy getting a very good start, but then just can't keep it together in the ending of the map. So Husky now sitting P1, the other 2 Dodgers comfortably P2, P3. A lot of buffer between the players now. So that will be another ace. The Dodgers have kind of found their rhythm, I'm noticing. So Husky has just been kind of driving his pace. He's been forcing the other players to say, "Hey, I'm going this fast. Deal with it, or you're going to lose a round." So it's kind of making the Sabres have to push much harder than I think they'd like to.
Yes, of course, that invisible pressure from one player's pace can alter the gameplay from for every single one. Teammates to enemies. Well, enemies, competitors, however you want to call them.
Yeah. No one's your enemies. We all like each other. Oh, Skylar,
Yeah, well, like
unfortunately.
Skylar giving us a jump scare out of
Ooh,
nowhere.
Toga going for the jumping line. Oh my gosh.
Damn,
It actually
Rubber
worked out.
Dragon with a tiny bit of a mistake. It's going to be a fight mainly mainly between Nova, who's just trailing slightly behind both Dodgers players, going very, very close to the finish, but the gap is too wide. The speed difference, it's the
Oof.
same. So Toge-kiss and Husky are going to get the small ace, 11 points. That is going to guarantee them the round point. And yeah, this map, something we didn't mention, those jump scares. What is going
There's a
on?
lot of holes.
Basically, Trackmania, because I mean, everything is planned. There's no randomness in this game. Everything is planned. Everything happens as it should. When you clip your wheels on a hole and you're going at high speed, there's something called bad things happen, and your
Yeah.
car just go flying to the roof.
Yeah, very you jump very very high, but in this round I do want to point out that J Nova actually has a very very considerable lead. Zeddy currently holding up P4. Skylar hasn't really found his rhythm yet. I know, unfortunately, it sucks to say because that is your friend. Um, you were I believe casting with him? Question mark. I'm not sure.
Yeah. I mean, yeah,
Ooh, very close in the
co-caster
ending. Oh my
from
gosh.
yesterday, and
Oh,
Nova with a huge
Saber. Yeah.
mistake, planting the pillar. Uh,
It sucks, but
it sucks.
that's what's gonna
It
happen.
happens.
That's just to point out another ace for the Dodgers. Currently 1-2-3. It's 4-0 on this map. It definitely doesn't feel 4-0 though. There's been some moments where J Nova and Zeddy have just been kind of fighting their way up front. It's definitely very very. It's unique to see how these are going to develop because obviously right now the LO is doing their best to get report cards and such up. That'll be later in the season though. So I'm not too worried about that. But definitely, we're gonna see some statistics. Toga going for the jumping line, gonna end up losing a little bit more speed. So Jnova's gonna actually keep the lead that he manufactured there. Okay, Skylar is now sitting P4. Zeddy, unfortunately, having a tiny error in this round. So not going to be enough. Even if Jnova can keep it together across the line one last time, that will be all she wrote for Anglione, and the Dodgers will take another map win, 2-0 in the series, 10-0 overall.
That's uh, that's not a great spot to be
Yeah, it
in
hurts.
if you're a Sabres fan. But I mean, once again, we're seeing it from one league to the other. Consistency is key,
Yep.
but this time pace is way, way more present on the competition. One player's pace, maybe you have one of your players is top 10, top 20 on the map. So that is going to put a lot of pressure on every single other one of the players, teammates, or adversaries, if that's the word.
Yeah, that, that's probably right. Um,
Surely. But
but
well,
yeah, I do want to point out the Dodgers have a very good thing going for them. We have as I said before, Husky is just kind of driving his own game. He's not really worried. He's not sending or kind of like safing anywhere. And then Rotary Dragon has been kind of just keeping it together and like just holding up the back positions, which not even on purpose. His teammates are just driving really really good. And Toga has been driving very well, really just sending the pace and setting the message of the lobby, saying if you want P1, you have to catch me, which it has been working out. And we've seen other teams try this and it just kind of blow up in their own face. But for that to actually work out for them, as you can see, they're currently 10-0 right now. It's
and
working. I think 10-0 or maybe 10-1. I'm not sure.
I think 10 to 1. But I mean, the
Oh,
rounds
10 to
count
0.
in the terms of, 10-0.
10
I mean,
0.
as you mentioned before, not only the match wins matter, also the maps and even each round matters in terms of deciding who's going to playoffs and who's sadly not going to make it in. So everything is going to matter. Pace is everything, but consistency is something you absolutely need to accompany pace. It doesn't matter to be a world record holder if you can only get to the finish cleanly once every 5 runs. So once again, is going to be the Dodgers leading the way, fighting for an ace on the first round of this map, going to be Belize with a Z, which is throwing me off because in Spanish, Belize, the country, has an S,
Yeah, it's
and
very
it's triggering something there in background.
yeah, definitely some subliminal stuff going on there with all the languages you know. You said you know what, 4 languages? Maybe?
Yeah, I mean,
Just to give you the chance to brag a little bit.
oh, no, come on. I mean, I'm familiar. I'm quite familiar with three, and maybe can add a fourth one. But I mean, yeah, that's something cool if you want to cast in many languages. Not as fluent as in Spanish, of course. That's why I'm struggling a little bit, and also I'm quite sleepy. But that's why you're here to compliment me, and well, to be honest, carry me. This
Hey,
whole
it's a joint
uh,
effort, man.
I mean, it's a joint effort, but that's why I love to cast with you. We've had experience a couple of times, especially on the North American Cup,
Oh
and I
yeah.
really enjoy to be here with you casting. And I mean, spectating these great matches in great events on Trackmania. But going back to the rounds and trying to not get distracted by the very bright green that Nadeo introduced uh, recently on the game on this season, it is going to be a first, second, and third for the Dodgers once again, standing
Yeah,
very close to each other, leading
it's a little bit
the
hard to
possible
watch
ace.
because
Yeah,
the Sabres, as we saw before, I mean, it's kind of the same thing I predicted that would happen in the AL game. If they were struggling on Emily and the other map, Anglione, if they go on to Belize, which is considerably harder, it's a noticeable difficulty jump compared to the other maps. It's not going to be pretty, and as you can see now, it is, well, not very pretty. So the Dodgers take another round win there. Actually, Husky making a mistake and bringing some well-deserved points to the Sabres. Not enough to win the round, obviously, but because 1-2 is, as I've me and Chibi have established, that's kind of all you need. Um, but I do want to point out to anyone watching the stream, I know minor league esports is something much bigger than Trackmania. I know there's a lot of viewers from the Rocket League side coming to support their franchise playing right now. If you want to get on the action, we have a lot of potential roster spots ready to be given to you if you can prove yourself. Some of us are still hosting tryouts. I think there was a tryout maybe a week ago. I'm not sure. Some FA drops and waiver wires. We're still getting all that set up, but definitely if you are wanting to join, I think you can go to mlesports.gg/apply. Someone, maybe a mod, can verify that, but I'm not sure as we go into the third round on Belize. So Jay Nova is sitting currently, I would say comfortably in P3, but as Toga brings that position to himself, it won't be the best sight to see. They're all three Dodgers sitting 1, 2, 3, taking up the podium spots in this round. Husky bringing his car over the corner, and Toga having similar fate, and unfortunately will be too little too late as the Dodgers 1 and 2. And that is again all you need to get a
close the
round
map.
win.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, to close around the map, not so
not
quickly.
yet.
We're still we're almost halfway there. I can presume. 3-0. The Dodgers are still well cleanly sweeping every single round. Not by much. In this map, yes, we're seeing aces. It's a hard map. It's a map that every single corner is just pushing you and your confidence further every single time, every single round is going to play in your psychological, especially with that bright green that's driving me blind.
Yeah,
Holy
it's pretty bright.
Nadeo.
So in the round number 4 here, I do want to point out that Toga, who has been kind of front running for this Dodgers team so far, has been on par with Rotary Dragon, which would make sense. They're only 0.5 difference in salary, but Husky, who has been kind of being sitting in third place the entire time, is actually a 15 sal, which is, I believe, the maximum you can be before you get ranked out and you get pushed all the way up to Master League. So it's a little bit weird to see that the 10.5 and 11 sal driving much better than Husky, but maybe some salary changes in order. maybe Husky comes down and Toga and Rotary go up a little bit, and maybe they meet in the middle, that kind of scenario. But in terms of the Sabres, it's definitely hard to say because they're obviously playing a little bit less consistent. Maybe their mental shot a little bit, and obviously the map is hard. They don't have their captain here, or their assistant general manager, I believe, being Argenbarger, who is their 15 Sal. So definitely no player of that caliber in this match right now. But definitely, if there were to be anyone who would be moved up, I believe it'd be Toga, just due to the fact that they are kind of sending it pretty hard in every single round. Well, aside from this one, because right now it's a very, very close fight in the middle. You see J Nova going for that inside plastic line as the Dodgers come out of that entire mess, one into J Nova, the only one really challenging. K Skyler sitting back, Toga finding his way onto two wheels of his car and not being able to keep it together in that round. So Husky holding off the two Sabres as hard as possible. And I believe even if Husky gets overtaken by both of them, it won't be enough due to the fact that Zeddy made an unfortunate mistake in the beginning of this round. So the Dodgers are sitting very comfortably as we go into one final turn of the map, sending the cars down the hill as fast as you can, throwing it over this ramp, and that will be enough for the Dodgers to win not only the map, but the series as well. But we do play all 5, so 2 more.
Exactly. We're not in BO5. We're playing all the maps from the first to the last one. Because as we mentioned before, every single map win, every single round counts to deciding who's going to playoffs and who's sadly not going to make it. But for now, that is going to be everything for Belize with the Z,
Yep.
who still trigger me. And we are going to transition not to Zanzibar because that's the last one, but to this word, this animal that I still can't get into my
Calaboose.
mind, Calaboose. I've never seen one in my life, even though I'm in Canada.
Yeah,
Is
it's interesting because if you're a Sabres fan right now, I'm not sure how this one's gonna go because I see this going either one of two ways. Either the Dodgers, they keep their momentum from the previous 3 maps and they don't make many mistakes, and even when they do, the Sabres aren't there to capitalize, or this is the Dodgers' worst map and the Sabres get a few round wins but evidently still lose. Which is very harsh to say as a caster, which I should be unbiased, but this Dodgers team is just playing so incredibly well in honestly in all 3 leagues. They've been playing really good, so I'm
yes,
excited to see how far they're gonna go in playoffs.
as I mean, they won the Masters League match last
Very yeah,
week.
that one was very close. It went if
It
anyone
was
was here
very
last week,
close.
it went literally to the distance, 2-2, final map, 4-4, 1 round to decide the series, and Dodgers I think inched it out by a few tenths, I think. Which,
Yes,
if
it
you're
was.
new to Trackmania, it happens more often than you realize. So you need to be on your A game at all times. But Chivi, I will let you take the first round of Calaboose.
Absolutely. And on the first round, it is going to be a close fight between all players. This map, as we mentioned before, is the one that features ice, which is, as you can see, a nightmare for most Turkmenia players. Going to be Toge-kiss, Husky, and J Nova, the ones who survived the first ice section. Which, if you don't know how ice works, it just works as you can imagine it. Your wheels on ice, your car just spins all around. If you come from a Nordic country, you know how bad of a
Oh,
situation it is when you have
Toga.
ice under the wheels. But Tokyo is having a mistake, and Nova and Husky are fighting on the last ice slide,
Yeah,
going
a lot of
into a
mistakes this
transition
time.
for the bobsleigh into the narrow section. Both players are going to survive, but
Rotary Dragon?
Husky,
Rotary Dragon is upside down in the stadium right now. I'm not sure that's exactly the line, but he's finding his way to the finish. Gonna actually have to double respawn, but we're pretty lenient here. If he can make it to the finish, it'll be a Dodgers win, 11-10. Very close, less than a
very
second,
close.
just to get his car into the finish and secure that one last point. So as you can see in rounds like that, literally every single point matters. So if you think, whatever, I have to safe this out, and if I get caught, it's fine. Sometimes you don't have that that gift of just being able to give up positions like that, because every single round, every single position, sorry, actually counts. So one mistake from each player on both sides this time around. Okay, Skylar a little bit slower than I would like, air braking into this no braking section, trying to keep it very much together. And in front, however, it's going to be J Nova fighting two Dodgers players, the two front runners we've been seeing throughout the series. J Nova, a lot more speed as we go into this drifting section. Make sure you keep gear 4 in this right-hander, or else you're going to lose a lot of speed into this ice slide. Making sure all 4 tires get on the ground as soon as possible so you can turn your car and send it as hard as you can on the inside. J Nova, a lot of speed in this bobsleigh, going to keep it together to go all the way to the finish. Toga with so much speed, overtaking both players into the ending of the map, and that is a 1-2 for the Dodgers. Another round win for them there.
Great line, great speed for Toga. But sadly, Genova had it's such a difficult block. Bob's like when you enter Bob or you exit it, you really need to get flat on your tires. If one of your tires is kind of a little bit on the air, is kind of wobbly, you're gonna lose a lot of speed. You're going to get a penalty speed because the game is going to account as if you hit it with the side of your wheels, the wall, and that speed penalty is going to cost maybe a round, maybe a match, as we saw just from Nova. Husky with a mistake going too wide, touching the pole, then waypoint. If it was there, I mean, is my guess. I don't know who mapped this. It was them.
Well, I think it could
Oh,
be latitude mapping, but
it could be, but I mean, at this point,
it's waypoint thing.
it's a
Everyone knows.
waypoint. It's a waypoint. But I mean, for now, it's
Very
going to
varied
be
field.
Verde Dragon.
Yeah, a lot of people
with
are
a
very
very good
spread
number.
out in this round. I mean, currently sitting there's like a 6-second gap between first and sixth, so you need to make sure that you're keeping it together nearly at all times. But in terms of the overall standings, it'll be another Dodgers win, currently sitting 1-3. Which, fun fact, well, not really a fun fact because you have to do math. But if you are first, third, and your last player literally touches the finish line, it's impossible for you to lose.
Yes, that
So
is
even if you're
why.
not, yeah, if you're not getting 1-2 every round, you're just fine. I think actually if you're 1-4 and your last player finishes, you're fine.
Um, no, I think it's 1-3 because
Is it
1-3
1-3?
1-3 gives you 10 points and then you need the
Oh
last
yeah.
player
You're right.
to
You're right. You're
finish. Even
right. Hey,
one
math is
point is
hard,
more
man.
than enough.
Math
I
is hard.
know, man. That's why we're on vacation. That's not
That's
the
why we're in the
subject
booth.
we should be touching. Exactly. If we knew the numbers, we will be organizing this thing, but that's not our position. We're here just to cast, just to do some commenting, and just to give a little bit of hype to the matches. So if we go back to the front of the match, it's going to be a fight between pretty much all the players, 3 Dodgers and 2 Sabres. They're going to be in slightly in a disadvantage with Toge-kiss with a little bit of a mistake. Is going to be Seti and Genova who are going to fight for the first position. Seti with the advantage, maybe a wider line. Husky with way more speed, and
Oh
that
my
speed is
gosh.
going to carry like a rocket. And
J Nova gets caught.
Toge-kiss,
Oh.
sniping the third position. It's going to be 6+4. That's 10, and they need just Worthy Dragon to finish the map, which is going to happen, of course, as we see. And that's going to
Yeah.
be 12 points, more than enough to get another round. And once more, 4-0 match point for the Dodgers. I'm I'm surprised. I mean, it is impressive how the match, every single round has been very close. But at the end of the day, every single one of them has been taken home by the Dodgers. It's just
Yeah,
a
I
weird
mean,
feeling of how this is happening. I mean, every single round matters. Every single position matters. Even if the rounds are close, the thing matters. The thing that matters is crossing the finish line in the very best positions
yep.
as your team can get. And from start to finish, the Dodgers have been the ones securing those top places every single time, back to back to back.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, in terms of overall, I mean, in this round, the Dodgers are doing a wonderful job, currently sitting 1-3-4. Overall, the Dodgers, This might be one of their better rosters, I want to say, in terms of what three-man roster you can put together out of the five total. But I do want to point out that this is well, the Sabres are kind of in an odd position right now because I believe they dropped someone or traded someone for like a pick or something. I'm not sure, but they're currently a four-man roster, so they have less to work with. And I believe their captain, Argenbarger, who is not here today, um, is out busy. So technically, this is the worst Sabres roster. I'm not saying it's a bad Sabres roster, but it's clearly not enough to take down the Dodgers right now. So one more map between, I believe, a 25-0, which I think only happened in I think it happened in CL once, and then maybe
Yeah,
one AL match. I'm not sure. Maybe someone in chat who is much more prideful in their own team's 25-0 can educate me on that. But on Zanzibar, our last map, I think we should really consider. So Zanzibar is very weird because it's very snowball heavy. You need to make sure you're keeping as much speed, and the more speed you get, it sounds silly, but the more speed you have, the more time you gain. um,
yeah. As you said,
it's gonna
it
be hard.
mine. It sounds silly, but on these kind of maps, you wanna do whatever you want. Go fast, go slow, go safe, go not so safe. But whatever you wanna do is not touch a wall. Touching
Yep.
a wall is basically death penalty in these kind of maps where the snowball effect is the one, well, driving the general direction of this map. Dirt, what you want to make sure is to keep the gear, keep the line, don't
Yep.
slide too much, and if you're good enough, try to squeeze all those outside dirts, because for the ones who are not so familiar with the game, on the dirt sections, you have two color palettes. You have the darker one that you can see on the main road, and on the side you have something a little bit lighter. What does
Yeah.
this mean? Well, in Trackmania, for some reason that I cannot explain, but that's just how the game it works. When you drive on the lighter section, you get you get more speed.
More
It's just
speed.
how it is. Even if you're drifting,
No one
even
knows
you're
why.
sliding, it just happens. So if you're good enough and you can squeeze on that very very narrow line between the wall and the dark section, you can get a lot of speed. And as this map is made of basically almost only dirt, every single round, well, in every single round, every single turn, every single corner, it's just an open invitation to get all the speed that you can squeeze out of it. And players just like Nova, who is in the first position right now, they're going to show us how much speed you can get. And even you're in the fourth, fifth position, if you get good outside dirts, one back to back to back, you can go from last to first in a very very quick motion.
Yeah,
As you
definitely.
can
I
see,
mean,
Rotary Dragon with more
oh my
speed
gosh.
and taking all the outsiders, and look at all the
Yeah,
speed.
look how much
They're going to
speed.
go flying, and that point 0.2 gap from first to second is going to be a reverse for second to first. Well,
Yeah,
what
that
is this?
was
0.6, 0.7 gap?
yeah, something yeah, 0.695 for a gap there. So definitely gaining a lot, going from fighting just to get that reactor and send as much as you can in that outside dirt. So definitely going to be the downfall. There is a trick in the start of this map I do want to point out just for anyone watching. In this sausage jump, basically after this, when you're jumping up to get to the next checkpoint, you need to make sure you're air braking and keeping gear 4, because if you actually end up dropping the gear there, you have to turn your car. And a little weird fact, if your car gears up or down and your skid marks aren't aligned, skid marks being the lines behind you see in all the cars, you actually lose a lot more speed than you normally would. And I think someone made a video on why it happens, but I'm not smart enough to remember that. So in this round, however, it's going to be 1-2 for the Dodgers, and maybe even 3 if Husky can get past it. To go into the last section of the map, J Nova fighting Husky. Husky having to take a lot of sand and save himself a little bit. So as we see, J Nova actually getting a lot of speed using that outside line as we saw before. So it's definitely very very valuable. J Nova, unfortunately, a clipping in the upside down reactor section. So it will still be a Dodgers 1-2-3 ace. I believe that's number 7. Number I don't
I
know.
can't keep up. I
Yeah.
mean, they have just dominating almost every single round and keeping their losing rounds board completely clean. And I mean, just a general thumb rule: if your marks, if the lines behind your wheels are not aligned when you're changing gear, you're in the problem zone. You're not in the best position.
Yeah, definitely.
But going to the next round is going to be.
Ooh,
I was going to say it, and I'm so sorry about it. Sorry, Jay.
you thought about it. What?
Yeah, I
Heavy.
thought about it. How dare I? But Zeri, it's on the lead. Was going to be an ace kind of lead, but sadly, Genova going to take that wall directly to their nose, and it's going to be a very hard position once again for the Sabres. And Zeri, hard landing. They're gonna lose a lot of speed. The snowball effect is going to show right now, and 1, 2, and 3 Dodgers are going to go with reactor to the upside down section and fly towards the finish with another ace.
Yeah, ace number 8, which it definitely hurts if you're a Saber or a Sabres fan. Definitely. I do want to point out the start has been giving Skylar a lot of troubles, like a lot more troubles than I think is normal. So I'm kind of curious to see what's going on there. But in terms of the upfront race, it seems the Dodgers have all figured out their gears in the start of this map, and everyone's they're found their footing. So the pace you're seeing now is kind of how this series is going to go, unless something catastrophic happens. As I say that, Husky finds a way to clip his back wheel in the second turn of the map, but still is in the running with the rest of the pack. Rotary Dragon fighting with Zeddy up front. This is, oh my gosh, this is the best chance the Sabres have had in a moment. Now both teams having one player making a mistake, so kind of a vague 2v2. Zeddy a little bit too far back to kind of make a gap on any positional battles. So it's kind of J Nova versus Husky as we go into the uphill section. Husky with a lot more speed into this dirt. J Nova now has to play the catch up game as we go into the drift. A lot of mistakes from Toga there, losing almost a second, maybe more than a second due to the lack of speed. J Nova really pushing this as hard as possible. Husky with a bouncy landing, but all the players keeping it very, very close. Husky with just a lot more speed as we see from that outside dirt strategy there. So yeah, a catastrophic round. A lot of players making a mistake. I believe J Nova and Husky the only ones not, but that's what I was saying. Husky's been kind of the glue guy. He's been keeping the team together with his consistency. So even if you're making some errors here and there, you have Husky to hold up P2 or even P1 depending on the situation. But match point for the Dodgers now.
Sadly, Zeri on the last round was fighting for the third, fourth position, but they sadly got the worst mistake that a Turkmenia player can have, and it's just eating the wall right at the checkpoint. So you lose all the momentum, and you have to basically start from zero, and that's a terrible mistake if you're in a competitive match. A mistake like that can completely ruin the momentum or even the moral of the team or the player. But for now,
Yeah.
Zeri once again is on the top positions, fighting with Tog, with Toga. Red Dragon and Husky are fighting, just trailing behind point one, maybe not even
Ooh,
point two,
Toga.
and J Nova very very close to them, fighting, looking for a mistake from one of the Dodgers players, just to avoid that clean 30-0. But it's going to, oh, one
Ooh,
mistake, two
yeah.
mistakes is going to be Zeri and Genova taking 1 and 3. So that means that if the last Sabres player can finish,
Skylar finds the finish. So they have actually stopped the 25-0 in the very last round possible due to the Dodgers making some silly mistakes in the ending. So they don't get to hang up that trophy. That it's kind of like a prideful thing in saying that your team earned a 25-0 in the time of minor league esports season 2. But yeah, in terms of the series, however, I don't think the Sabres will be carrying that momentum into the future rounds as much as I'd like them to. I mean, the Dodgers look very solid now as we go into checkpoint number 4. Skylar actually getting out of this. All right, bye, Skylar. Uh, getting out of the start very cleanly, I was going to say. But in terms of the P1 battle, it's actually Zeddy fighting with Rotary Dragon. Rotary's been he's been doing that strategy as I was talking about on Anglione, where he's just kind of full sending, and whatever happens to his car just happens. He's not really worried about anything because he has two very consistent players behind him right now. Zeddy has to kind of full send and full push to give the Sabres a better opportunity to get anything happen. It's currently 11-10 in Dodgers' favor right now, so if it were to end in these positions, the series would be over. Zeddy with a lot more speed going outside line. Unfortunately, clips the hole though with the back wheel, giving Rotary Dragon the go-ahead to find that P1 position, and that will be it for the Dodgers and Sabres series. 25-1 overall, 5-0 for the Dodgers. It definitely wasn't very pretty, but I think everyone watching the stream can all blame Chivi for getting his money on the series. I think we can all do it.
You know what? I should stop betting. Maybe I shouldn't say who I'm going to root for the next match because maybe that's something that shouldn't be done for myself. Those curses are strong and they're happening way too much, way more than I was expecting it to happen, or anyone would expect it to happen. So for the next match, I'm going to shut up a little bit, and well, I just gotta say that that's all for this match. The Dodgers are going to take it 5-0. Two matches that finish in this kind of fashion, a little bit heartbreaking if you're a fan for the teams who couldn't beat the other team. I mean, it
Yeah.
happens. It's a competition. Someone has to win, someone has to lose, and we are going to another break just for a moment for the Masters League. It is.
Yes, the Masters League. It'll actually be I believe the Jets versus the Spectre, which is going to be a very, very close match. So I'm excited to see that. But in terms of the MLE network, we are going to be right back. So I will see you all. Well, I won't see you all. Chivi will see you all very, very soon. Bye bye.